Jaecoo Brand is making an appearance on the Australian shores in the second half of 2024. At the very least, that's what they promised, my friends. And today I am translating, once again, a video from a Russian channel, За Рулем. I translated a lot of videos from them. It is the insights from, obviously, a foreign market on the brand that is about to appear on our shores. So what do they know about Jaecoo J7? And spoiler alert, they already have even J8 there. So those reviews are also coming. Welcome back to the channel, my friends. If you're new here, my name is Dimitri. This is Value Cars Australia, and for the past 2+ years I've been reviewing value for money cars, majority of which are originating from China. Today we're talking about another brand, Jaecoo. It's new to us. A lot of us do not know what it is. This brand belongs to Chery Holdings. It's part of the Chery group. Yeah, it's one of those brands that are producing slightly more upper class kind of stuff, slightly more premium, I suppose, vehicles under Chery brand in China and for export into other countries such as South Africa, such as Russia, but these are only a couple of markets. They're everywhere. They are very often borrowing the most successful design elements from the Western brands or from Japanese brands. For example, we were talking about Jaecoo. Jaecoo T2 is a rip-off of the Land Rover Defender 110 model. This time we're talking about Jaecoo J7, which, if we look at it in the same vein, is a rip-off of Range Rover Evoque. It is not an exact replica, of course, because they both can't do that legally, as well as don't want to, okay? But it's arguably a rather successful borrowing of a lot of design elements and a lot of functional elements that have granted a Range Rover Evoque success and popularity on the market in Australia and in other countries. We're talking about general shape of the vehicle. We're talking about general feel of the vehicle. We're talking about the retractable door handles as one of the signature things of Range Rover Evoque and other kind of things. So in this video, we are following Kirill from За Рулем and listening to what he has to say about this particular vehicle. If you enjoy this kind of videos, now is your chance to give me a like, and also pay attention because this video is sponsored by the old friends of this channel, Ottocast. Ottocast are very well established on the market, manufacturers of wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple Carplay AI boxes, which is basically a wireless adapter for your car. If your car is struggling with wireless connectivity to built-in wired Android Auto, wired Apple CarPlay, then Ottocast is one of the major, biggest brands that are offering massive discounts to my community to check out. Check out the links in the description below. They have a lot of units. Lately I've reviewed like a couple of them, and this is also your chance to check the Auto Gear Reviews sister channel of mine, of Value Cars Australia, where I go in depth into unboxing, installation and other things about these units. Check them out. The design, the outside look is always questionable, but I think that a lot of people will like the more classic approach to design, more upper kind of class design of Range Rover Evoque, a fake Range Rover Evoque, Jaecoo J7. When we can talk about, I don't know, Chery Armada 5 or even Jaecoo T2, which could be a little bit more polarizing with a little bit more of a modern kind of sleek lines and kind of as if those designs of Jaecoo or Jaecoo or even Chery, they are kind of trying too hard and they would polarize. Sort of some people will hate it, some people will love it. While in this particular case, Jaecoo J7, I think hits right down the middle. It's a safe bet design, I suppose, that looks expensive, looks nice enough, and I think majority of you will also agree that this will appeal to a lot of people on the market once this car is rolling out. I think it's rather good looking. It's a rather good looking vehicle. Now inside, as unsurprising as it is, from Chery, from Jaecoo, from Jaecoo for that matter, they're relying quite a lot on digital instrument cluster here, which looks rather neat. I haven't test driven the car obviously, but from Kirill's impressions and from what I see on the screen here translating for you, it looks rather nice, as well as the central central infotainment panel is also this massive. In the base version it's a 13+ inch, and in the premium version it's a 14+ inch, I think, infotainment display with a whole bunch of controls that are allowing you to, you know, make yourself comfortable, heated seats, etc, etc. We will see exactly. It makes no sense for me diving into these specifics in the translated version, simply because we don't know exactly what exact version of Jaecoo T2, or in this case Jaecoo J7, come to Australian shores, because yes, they differ. These cars could differ, and we probably would do well if we take a look at it more closely once it arrives. But regardless, we're dealing with two digital screens over here, electronic controls, some physical buttons here are present as well, which I'm not a massive fan of a lot of manufacturers going away from analog, from physical buttons, and relying more on electronics, because of course it's easier for them to manufacture just software that fulfills these functions, and it's of course more expensive to manufacture mechanical elements that, you know, otherwise they would need to do. Like, I understand that kind of stuff. Kirill here shows us the boot of Jaecoo J7 very quickly, and sort of says that it's a rather small boot. And from my perspective, as an owner of some Chinese cars in the recent past, I can say that yes, it looks small. It looks smaller than that of Haval H6, for example, and it looks more comparable optically, at least from what I can see, to my old MG HS 2021 model, which was admittedly rather small. As far as the engine and sort of the build of the car is concerned, Kirill here says that this whole car is built on the technology and on kind of the frame, if you like, of Tiggo 7 Pro Max. Yeah, from Chery, obviously lineup, even under a different brand. And they come with 1.6 turbo petrol engines with the ballpark of 186 horsepower. When he opens the bonnet, the engine looks a little bit bigger than in Jaecoo T2. And yes, I'm kind of jumping between the cars here simply because they all belong to the same Chery holdings, and technology obviously is somewhat borrowed and somewhat kind of cross-referenceable, if I may say so. Ergonomics of the vehicle looks pretty good to me, starting with the most important element of our lives, and it's our smartphones. They have two panels here as expected, like we see it in a Model 5, and obviously we see it now here also. That's kind of a Chery signature move, I suppose, on their vehicles. And one of them is wireless chargeable, another one is just a placement for the phone. But what I love here about the Jaecoo J7 is that they also have a vertical slot, kind of to put the third phone almost vertically, if you like, to slot it in there into the central panel. I think that's pretty awesome. Now, as far as the all-wheel drive capabilities of the vehicle are concerned, at least in Russia they have it in both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Maybe we get the same in Australia. And the all-wheel drive is electronically controllable. Yes, you can choose the mode of the drive, similar to how I can do in my Subaru Outback, let's say, but it's not manual deflock type of stuff. It is something that will engage when it needs to engage. The car only has 175mm ground clearance, which doesn't automatically make it a serious off-roader. It is absolutely not. It is an urban SUV with all-wheel drive capability. Yeah, let's not fool ourselves, but at the same time, it's capable enough by the look of it, but like, so for very, very light, active lifestyle off-roading. But let's not fool ourselves that this is something that you would take through the bush. Yeah, something like that. Even though they are still, we can see some of the brutal elements of design, some of the bolts on the door handles kind of try to hint at the fact that this car is capable and is, like, you know, a bit rugged, tiny bit. But I think it's a joke. I honestly think it's a joke. Kirill, interestingly enough, comments of all things on the strange headrests of these seats of Jaecoo J7, where the headrest itself is flat and wide. He says that it's very, very kind of hard. If you try to honestly rest your head on it on a long drive, it feels like the head kind of wobbles from side to side. It doesn't hold you in the middle, and that is probably as opposed to, say, Jaecoo T2 that we have translated very recently, where they have a similar headrest, but by the look of it, it's more of an airplane style, where those wider elements can be folded inward a little bit and help your head be in place. That is just an interesting, non-essential, but still quite an interesting observation as far as that's concerned. As far as the back seats are concerned, look, Kirill here says that he is used to, as we all are used to, the companies, especially Chinese companies, that are trying to cut corners and create cars cheaper. I can't blame them, yeah. They try to put all the luxury, all the wow into the front seats, the driver seat and the closest passenger seat, yeah, and all the panels that are right here in the driver's area. But in this case, we're looking at J7, and he says it actually is as high quality, as nice to sit at the back as it is in the front. So he says that it doesn't feel like second-class citizen kind of thing sitting there at the back. As far as the very quick mention that he does here, Kirill, on active drive assistance systems and stuff like that, there is a whole plethora of everything that you would expect from Chery Holdings. They're packing their cars with the active lane monitoring and whatnot. But here he talks about that even for a rear seat passenger, there is a blind spot monitoring that will help you not get hit by anything, by a bike, by a car, when the rear seat passenger wants to open the rear doors. So you would get a notification that there is an object in the blind spot that will hopefully help you save on some kind of trauma. He even says that when the car starts more prolifically kind of be present on the Russian territory, but we can speculate that it will be here just as much as Haval H6 is now everywhere in Australia. If it's used for taxi services, Uber services and similar things, I think for a rear seat passenger, this will be a very, very comfortable, nice vehicle. The model that they are reviewing at the very least does not have panoramic sunroof, but once again, we will see if it comes with panoramic sunroof to Australia, which I think is a waste of money and is a waste of for both yourself if you're considering to buy a car in Australia or in any other sunny country such as South Africa. I don't think panoramic sunroof is a real feature. I think it's a gimmick. You will open it once and then you will feel too hot for the rest of the ownership of the car. So this one doesn't have it, which is a great thing. It's a saving for both the company and for you. The 186 roughly horsepower performance feels okay on the road, and the vehicle is not too heavy, obviously, so it actually performs all right as Kirill takes it for a spin. There is only so much to be said. The only thing that he kind of spends a lot of time talking about and is worthy for me to translate for you is the suspension. He says the suspension is a bit weird. Suspension is obviously computer assisted in a way, and sometimes he says it reacts quite good on the bumps. Sometimes you barely feel the bump, so suspension actually processed the bump properly and reacted properly as you would expect it to, while in others it can feel rather bumpy and rather rigid. So he thinks that maybe it's a matter of tuning, further tuning, or maybe it's a matter of that's just how car is made and that's what it is. The base version of the vehicle comes with 18-inch wheels. I'm not quite sure if the premium version will come with 19s, but 18-inch wheels feel slightly better, obviously, on the bumps and everything else on the road, arguably, especially if the car pretends to be even lightly off-road capable. And the engine, finally, even though it's from the same kind of company, parent company, which is Chery, it does feel more powerful in J7 than it does in a model lineup, even GT. So that's the interesting part. When the engine specs even look on paper similar, so obviously Kirill has driven a lot of these cars, Jetour, Amoda, and now Jaecoo as well. He says it's funnily enough that the weakest performance that he, in his humble opinion, that he feels is on Amoda side. View angles of the interior back rear view mirror as well as the exterior rear view mirrors. He says, funnily enough, him sitting in the driver's seat, he says that the furthest away, the passenger side mirror, does not offer him enough of an adjustable angle to see the road properly. He sees half of the car, and somehow he comments a little bit that maybe subjectively, but worthy of commenting, that he says that the visibility is strange. He just says it's strange. But maybe not a showstopper, something for us to double check, for you to be aware of if you take the car for a test drive. Make sure that visibility is good for you and all of that works. All in all, let's summarize, my friends. Jaecoo is very much on the Russian market, in the Russian also harsher weather conditions, and as always I keep saying, but I have to keep saying it because someone always tries to point it out to me, no, we don't know how these cars will perform 5-10 years down the track. We don't. Neither does GWM, neither does any other newish brand to our shores. But rest assured that it is being tested in very, very harsh conditions, much harsher than Australian conditions, and I will, for one, keep an eye on any of the other long-term reviews, disassembly, any of the other insights on Jaecoo and other sub-brands of Chery and other competitor brands on our market. I hope you've enjoyed this little early preview of Jaecoo J7 that is coming to Australian shores. If you enjoy this, if you like the design of the vehicle, if it piqued your interest, do you like it more than Tiggo 7 Pro? I do. I personally do. Humbly believe that it will be a better vehicle. But let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts? Do you like the design? Do you like how it looks performing on the road? Do you like the interior? I think basically, from my opinion, everything is better. from what I've seen today. Of course, the pricing will make a difference. Maybe it will be more expensive than Tiggo 7 Pro. In fact, it probably will be, yeah. But it does look more premium to me. And I'm very keen to see and to feel the car once it's finally on our Australian shores. As always, if you're not one of the commenters, if you're one of the shy ones or time poor ones, the least you can do is give me a quick like right now so that I know that you continue appreciating these kind of reviews and these kind of videos of the precursors to our Australian shores. Of basically, I'm giving you heads up. I'm giving you heads up. This is what's coming. And that's why you potentially should be interested. If you are about to spend money, maybe hold on and wait, because I've just given you heads up. Hopefully it helps someone. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and watch this whole video for almost 17 minutes, whatever it will be after editing. Good on you for watching the whole video, first of all. You're very rare. A lot of people duck out a lot earlier, and I appreciate you. Talk to me in the comments down below. Subscribe for more. More videos like this one are absolutely coming. See you later. Goodbye for now.